Dodgers hit the road for the first time in 2020 as baseball is back, presented by Taco Bell. They head to Houston to take on the Astros in a rematch of the 2017 World Series. And we say welcome inside. Joe Davis or Hershiser. Alana Rizzo joins us in a moment. And if this looks familiar, this is the normal in 2020. We will call road games from our home booth. We're right here at Dodger Stadium looking out at an empty field. It's kind of weird, but it's better than nothing, and we'll do our best to bring it to you. And it is, again, of course, a rematch of the 2017 World Series, which we have learned a lot about since.
Yeah, we have, and I feel a vibe all the way from Houston to here at Dodger Stadium. So I don't know if it's going to turn into fireworks because of that vibe, but I know there is no chance these players are having a tough time getting up for this game.
And the guy taking the ball for the Dodgers, nobody you'd rather have in this situation. It'll be making his season debut, Walker Buehler.
Walker Buehler had an outstanding year last year. Top in his career as far as starts and innings and strikeouts, and he was just electric. That fastball and slider combination, the curveball, the changeup was almost not existent, and I'm not sure we'll see that in 2020, but Walker Buehler is now the ace of the staff until Clayton Kershaw gets back up. Not completely built up, 65 pitches, so he's going to have to attack the strike zone.
And as you see, it will be on his 26th birthday as we bring in Alana Rizzo.
All right, guys, thanks very much. You were just talking about Clayton Kershaw, Earl, being on the IL. Well, he has another lefty to join him. Earlier today, the Dodgers announcing that left-hander Alex Wood was also placed on the IL, dealing with some shoulder inflammation that he's been dealing with for about a couple of weeks. No timetable for his return, but we do have a little bit more clarity on Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw playing a little bit of catch today. Dave Roberts earlier today saying that he was going to throw a bullpen today in Houston and hopefully be able to come back sooner rather than later. No official timetable, but Dave Roberts feeling confident that the ace of the staff will be back shortly. Several guys can take Alex Wood's start in that Dodgers rotation on Friday, namely Gonsolin, White, as well as Josiah Gray, and perhaps even Victor Gonzalez. Guys?
All right, Alana, the two teams that have won more games than any others in baseball over the last few seasons, the Dodgers and the Astros from Houston. First road game of the season. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is presented by Taco Bell. Baseball is back. In Houston at Minute Maid Park. Game 1 of 2 between the Dodgers and the Astros, opening up this first road trip of the season for LA. Here's the lineup that Dave Roberts will send out there for the opener. With a left-hander pitcher on the mound, it'll be Mookie Betts to lead things off, with Max Muncy starting at first and hitting second. Turner's been their best hitter so far. He's at third, hitting third, with Bellinger, Taylor, and Seager through the heart of the lineup. A.J. Pollock is in left, hitting seventh. Kike Hernandez at second base, and Will Smith doing the catching for Walker Buehler tonight. They face a 26-year-old from the Dominican Republic named Framber Valdez, who is entering his third year with Major League time, mostly out of the bullpen, but he gets a chance here all in the rotation because of some departures. Of course, Garrett Cole is gone, Wade Miley is gone, and then injuries like crazy through this Houston rotation.
You know, Valdez is having to pick up the slack. Probably would have been in the pen if most of the starters were healthy. He has pitched better out of the pen. He is the kind of guy that pitches better at home. Maybe the fear of this being such a good hitter's park makes him keep the ball down. He gets a lot of ground balls when he pitches at home in this park. The curveball is his best pitch, but there's a huge differential on the batting average against his fastball and his changeup compared to the curve. The curve last year, the league only hit 118. Well, the fastball they hit 337, and the changeup they hit 444. So the Dodgers might see a lot of hooks tonight.
It's a guy, we showed the numbers, a 5.87 ERA last year, and you see that and you say, man, I mean, what is this guy doing in the majors? Mike Trout faced him 2 years ago when Valdez was a rookie, and Trout said that it was some of the best stuff he has ever seen.
Really hard to square up, and the main reason is the heater that gets hit, he doesn't even know what it's going to do. He'll cut it, he'll sail it, he'll sink it, and all of a sudden he's even hard to catch. His catchers struggle to get the ball in the strike zone, and that's where he can be sporadically wild. So if he can start the ball in the middle of the plate and it not end up there, he could be tough to hit.
The best thing about him is also the worst thing about him, right? That fastball moves a ton. Well, a lot of times it moves itself right on out of the zone. Mookie Betts gets ready to hit. Dodgers coming off that 4-game split against San Francisco. Very disappointing opening 4 games after they took the first 2 with the offense clicking, scoring 17 runs in those 2 games. Scored just 5 over the last 2. Off we go, and you see a dive over the outside corner for strike 1 on Betts, who went 3 for 20 in that opening series.
Looking for some smiles from Mookie today. He really grinds out these at bats.
Lives and dies really with the outcome of each at bat. Dave Roberts said, though, what he's been pleased with is that, yeah, you see him live and die with it when he comes back into the dugout and stews on it for a moment by the bat rack, but he never takes it into the field with him, and he never lets it affect the way that he is with his teammates. That's hit up the middle off of the glove into Correa or Altuve, who shifted up the middle to get Betts for the first out. So 1 away here in the first inning, and up comes Max Muncy. 4 hits in the opening series, 2 home runs, 2 doubles. And as we saw against San Francisco, Dave Roberts will go back and forth between Betts and Muncy in the leadoff role based on the handedness of the starting pitcher. Lefty Valdez turns and deals, and Muncy takes ball 1.
You see the batting average 250, but if you were grading the quality of the at bats, Dave Roberts does that all the time. He doesn't always look at results. He looks at the at bat quality. Max would rate right near the top on the Dodger team.
Usually does, right? Look out. I mean, there are some guys who are hot and cold and are streaky, and there are some times where you're saying, man, what is this guy doing? You never say that with Max Muncy. Even when the results aren't there, you know what you're going to get in terms of approach.
This will be tough to hang in there on a curveball after that chin music.
See if Valdez goes with that on 2-0 instead. A fastball misses a little bit up. 3 balls and no strikes.
You face these guys that are kind of effectively wild. They can be very uncomfortable at bats. And I guess with Valdez, you can't say he's been effectively wild yet. With a 5-something ERA.
On 3-0, he finds the zone, and it's 3-1. Second highest walk rate in the majors last year. So more often than not, that fastball moved itself right out of the zone. Delivers 3-1, and Muncy takes it down the middle, 3-2.
That one he was able to keep straight and stayed right on the heart of the plate, and that'll make guys blink when you think it's going to tail, because 4 out of 5 of them have tailed, and then all of a sudden one stays straight. It almost looks like a cutter, even though it doesn't look that way on TV.
And all fastballs to Muncy, and he gets him swinging here. So 2 up and 2 down here in the first.
Three-2 breaking ball worked his way back in the count with a couple of fastballs, one that was moving, one that was straight, and then the breaking ball.
So with the bases empty, here's Turner, who after the first weekend leads baseball with 4 doubles. 7 for 15 against San Francisco was Turner. On a 1-0. Leaves it up, ball 2.
It'll be the theme of the game. Can the Dodgers be disciplined and force him into the strike zone? And then once he does find you and throw you a strike, can you capitalize on it?
On a 2-0 pitch, Turner watches it tail over the outside corner, 2-1.
Liberal strike zone for a guy who hasn't shown that he can throw strikes. One was a touch outside. Justin asking about it.
Alfonso Marquez, veteran umpire, calling balls and strikes tonight. It's 2-1. Here it is. Wraps around the plate. Ball 3. The Dodgers 106 wins a season ago to set a franchise record. The only team that won more was Houston, 107. They won their second pennant in the last 3 years, went to the World Series, and lost in 7 games against Washington. Turner yanks one to left. Brantley moves over and makes the catch to retire the side. So the Dodgers go down in order against Robert Valdez, and Walker Buehler gets ready to take it when you come back. Astros coming to bat for the first time with a lineup that scored better than 7 runs per game and taking 3 of 4 from Seattle to begin the season. George Springer leads it off, and then it's Altuve and Bregman. Michael Brantley's in left field batting cleanup, followed by Yuli Gurriel. Carlos Correa down at the bottom of the order. Reddick, Tucker, and Maldonado. And on his 26th birthday, here's Walker Buehler to make his season debut. And how about the National League ERA leaderboard over the last 2 seasons? 3 guys that combine for 8 Cy Youngs on their shelves, and then Walker Buehler with a sub-3.
Maybe he'll crack that award someday. He sure has the talent for it.
Here comes his first one to Springer. He attacks it, it's foul, and it's 0-1.
You're going to see a lot of that from Walker Buehler. First pitch fastball strikes. He upgraded that from 18 to 19, and hitters know it now. He's getting a lot of outs earlier in the count because they don't want him to get ahead with his stuff.
A stated priority of his, and he moved into the top 10 in baseball in that category last year. It's a weak ground ball to Seager at short, and Springer's the first out. How about the slow buildup for Walker Buehler and the fact that he's not starting here until Game 5?
Dave Roberts expects maybe 4 innings, 65 pitches or so, and his slow buildup is he's not really one of those guys that has off-season throwing programs. He only says that his arm goes fast. It only goes fast. There's no easing into it. So when he starts to throw, it's pretty firm right away, and he wants to then throw firm, build up as he goes, and add the innings and the pitches. He's not going to come into camp from just long tossing and be ready to go.
One gone for Jose Altuve, who takes strike 1, and we check in with Alana.
Guys, with the understanding that Walker Buehler is likely not going to be able to go too deep into the ball game, we originally thought it was going to be Dustin May coming out of the bullpen to piggyback off of Buehler. However, with the injury to Clayton Kershaw, it's actually Dustin May getting the start tomorrow in Houston. When we asked Dave Roberts who was going to piggyback out of the bullpen, considering they did have the day off yesterday, they feel that they are well equipped as far as those arms are concerned. And also with putting Alex Wood on the IL, Josh Sborz, the right-hander, is up.
All right, Alana, as Buehler gets ahead of Altuve, 0-2, and comes back home. That's ball 1.
Chase slider to this Astros lineup is probably a good pitch. They were one of the best at putting the slider in play and hitting for the highest average in the major leagues off of that pitch. So if you're going to use the slider, you want to make sure it's a chase pitch or right on the borderline.
Right to the corner with that fastball, and I'm going to do it again.
A lot of these Astro hitters are built for this ballpark. Right-handed pull hitters trying to hit it down that short left field porch. And with a baseball that might seem like 100 Titleists, it doesn't take a lot of weight to get it out of here.
Altuve hit his first home run of the season yesterday after he hit a career-high 31 last year. That slider's poked down the line foul, and it stays a 1-2.
Can I say here when we're there, not there?
Here, yeah.
Takes a lot to get it out of here. Well,
yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Tricky. Isn't it all these days? Buehler coming off a 14-4 campaign where he was an all-star for the first time. It was really his first true full major league season. The first couple years he came up, he was either slowed by injuries or slowed down just because of the innings count. And last year, for a similar reason to what we're seeing now, him not starting until the 5th game, not being able to go very deep in this game, He didn't make his first spring training start until late in March and then got off to a slow start. His ERA was above 5 at the end of April. 2.72 though the rest of the way. That's a big chopper that backs up Turner at third. He got rid of it quickly. 2 up and 2 down.
Good scouting by Justin Turner. Altuve's legs are a lot fresher this year, no minor injuries, and he's got his speed back. So Justin, knowing that, got rid of that ball in a hurry.
Heck of a matchup here. 2 of the great young players in the game as the reigning MVP runner-up Alex Bregman stands in. He just keeps getting better and better. 26 years old, entering his 5th major league year. Last year hit 41 home runs. He was the only qualifier that had more walks than Ks. And it wasn't even close. He had 36 more walks than he did strikeouts. Lifts this ball in the air to left center field. Bellinger and Pollock coming together, and it's Bellinger to cut it off and make the catch to finish off a 1-2-3 first. Coming up here in the second inning, Cody Bellinger to lead it off in time for the Taco Bell take.
3 things you can look at to possibly get a win in the column. I would say the patience at the plate. They need to not chase against the young guy that doesn't throw many strikes, and set the rallies early in the inning. A lot of 2-out rallies for the Dodgers where they only get 1 shot to drive the runner in. And I'll tell you, Walker Buehler, give himself a gift. Have a nice outing, maybe squeak out 5 and get a W.
Wonder if he's one of those guys that like takes liberties with it. You know, it's my birthday, but it's my birthday week.
Oh.
So next time he comes around in the rotation, he can gift himself again.
Shoot, if he keeps winning, it could be a birthday month.
Well, some people do that too. That is strike 1 on Bellinger. You mentioned get things going early in innings. Same could be said for getting things going early in games. 14 of the 22 runs the Dodgers scored against the Giants came in the late innings. On an 0-1 pitch, Bellinger tries to lay off a tailing fastball. No swing, and it's 1-1. Cody this weekend was 4 for 17. He and Betts together 7 of 37. Got the shift on the left-handed hitter. 1-2.
Valdez just 50-50 with the fastball. The breaking ball has been his out pitch. All 3 outs in the first off the breaking ball.
You mentioned it off of the top. Opponents hit 118 against that curveball last year. The Dodgers, one of their weaknesses was left-handed curveballs. There's a good one there to get Bellinger for the first out of the second.
And in some ways you can see why Valdez was better out of the bullpen, because they could pit their matchups and get the left-on-left situation and most of the hitters for him, which would definitely lower your ERA and up your effectiveness.
He's retired the first 4. Chris Taylor to the plate. You know, Valdez, 26 years old, didn't sign until he was 21. He didn't pitch until he was 16. 16 is the age where most guys in the Dominican are signing their contracts. But he wasn't even a pitcher until that age. And he's from a tiny town, Palenque, Dominican Republic. And so even when he started pitching, there weren't many eyes on him. And those that did come to see him, there was a perceived issue with his arm health, and so they backed off. And it wasn't until he was 21 years old that he got a last-minute tryout with a couple of Astros scouts that were in town. On their final night in town, they said, okay, we'll go take a look at this guy. As Taylor lines one into center field, and Springer comes on to catch it for out number 2. It was a last-minute thing. And really at the last minute of his window, when you're looking at an opportunity actually to sign a contract with a major league team. The scouts pull up near the end of the day at a field that has no lights. Sun is pretty much setting, so they're going to have a hard time seeing. They pull the car up behind the backstop and use the headlights to light up the mound and light up the plate so Framber can show him what he's got. Throws a couple fastballs, and then he shows him that curveball, and they said, we don't need to see anything more. We're setting up a formal tryout at our facility. Seager slaps the first one foul. And the cross-checkers at the facility saw the same thing. They said that's a big league curveball. We have no idea how nobody's identified it and signed him yet, but we're going to. And they did when he was 21.
21 doesn't sound old, but if you're a Dominican baseball player not signed by then, you're ancient.
And you're done. You got no chance. You never hear of guys that old signing.
No. 16. They start hiding guys at certain ages there, like at 13, 14. They'll start hiding them and say, don't play until you're like 16, then we'll sign you right away.
Valdez to Seager with the 0-2. It's that same curve. It's taken for a ball.
Dodgers with 3 left-handed hitters in the lineup with Muncy and Seager and Bellinger. This is a challenge for him. Somebody they rarely see, and that good left-handed curveball.
It's all he's thrown to Seager so far. Goes with a fastball that misses, and it evens up 2-2. This is a rare longer at bat for Seager.
Yes.
5th pitch is ball 3.
I guess you can say that Corey Seager leads the majors in fewest pitches seen, 2.5 so far in 2020.
More than half of his plate appearances have ended in either 1 or 2 pitches.
With this count right here, he's probably dropped out of number 1.
Yeah, skewing the average. He's probably out of breath. Payoff. And he checks his swing, ball 4. First base runner of the game for either team.
Well, an opportunity for the Dodgers to start something, but again with 2 outs. They'd love to get these walks and base hits with no outs and 1 out to be able to start moving people around. That's why you're seeing the high left on base totals from the Dodgers and the frustration. But it's frustrating, but it's not perfectly specific about how bad the offense is. The offense has been solid. It's just been a little late in every inning.
Yeah, 380 they're hitting with 2 out. It's been a matter of doing a little better job setting the table before they get to this point of the inning. A.J. Pollock takes inside ball 1. And what a special thing this weekend for A.J. and his wife Kate, who finally got to take baby Maddie home after 128 days in the hospital. If you hadn't heard, Maddie was born 3 months prematurely back in March, weighing just 1.6 pounds. And 128 days at the hospital. There wasn't a single point where all 3 of them could be together until Saturday. They all got to be together and go home from the hospital. And Maddie's up to about 8 pounds now.
That's wonderful news. Congratulations to the neonatal unit that brought Maddie through it. Those nurses and doctors are just fabulous.
What a weight off of his shoulders that has to be, and of course Kate's as well. A 2-0 pitch, hits it hard on the ground past Bregman into left for the first hit of the night. But here they go again with 2 out. First and second with 2 away for Hernandez.
An opportunity for a little 2-out thunder right here. AJ keeps the inning alive with this base hit in the 6th hole. Gets his foot down, stays through it. It's a ground ball, but it hit hard enough. Just hard enough. Bregman with a shot at it there.
Both these teams really good defensively. In fact, these were the 2 best defensive teams in baseball last year. Hernandez with 2 on and 2 out takes a first pitch strike. Huge performance on opening day, going 4 for 5 and driving in 5, but just 2 of 13 since. And he has had his opportunities with men on. Hasn't been able to cash in since the opener. Valdez home with an 0-1. Hernandez drives the ball the other way. That sends Reddick back to the track to catch it over the shoulder and end the inning. Dodgers get a couple 2-out base runners, but nothing to show for it. No score to the bottom of the second. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the SoCal BMW Centers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. By Carl's Jr., the new Monster Angus Thick Burger from Carl's Jr. The only way to stop it is to eat it. No score in Houston as Walker Buehler goes back to work and delivers a fastball strike to Michael Brantley. Followed by Yuli Gurriel and Carlos Correa here in the second. Brantley's driven in a run in all 4 games so far for Houston. Been their best hitter thus far. Takes it low, 1-1.
Walker pounding the strike zone so far, 9 for 13 as far as filling it up.
Here's his 1-1. Rising fastball, 1-2.
Brantley's got that gap-to-gap approach. He doesn't really cheat on anything. He uses the middle of the field very well. Just a professional hitter.
Only guy with a higher average than Michael Brantley over the last 6 years is Jose Altuve. Brantley .311 average the last 6 seasons. 4-time All-Star, is in his 12th major league year, just his 2nd in Houston. Over from the Cleveland Indians. Leading off this second. Fouls it again.
Earlier in the count, Walker was trying to go up the ladder and did. That one they wanted up the ladder, but he kind of pulled it down thigh high, got away with one. With this count, if you're going to miss, you should try and miss too high, not too low.
Brantley digs it out, but right at Hernandez for the first out.
You mentioned these two clubs are great defenders. It's also where they place the defenders that is really, really good.
Yeah, if you're grading them by defensive efficiency, which is the ability to turn batted balls into outs, that's a big part of it. Here's Gurriel. .36-year-old in the final year of his initial big league contract takes ball 1. Gurriel coming off his best season yet. The 35-year-old last year at 31 homers and drove in more than 100. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nice looking slider, 1-2. And nothing about Buehler through 20 pitches looks remotely rusty.
Not at all. I was just here thinking the same thought. I'm like, this is Cy Young form. I know we showed the ERA. What is he, 4th to Kershaw and Scherzer and DeGrom over the last 2 years.
Fastball gets him looking, and Buehler's got his first K of the year.
He looks very sharp for a guy on a slow ramp up, and you might get 4 innings and 65 pitches out of him. The way he's going with the efficiency right now, it might be 4 innings, but I'm not sure he'll reach 65 pitches. You not only have to watch the pitch count, but you've got to watch the hot and the colds, how many times you sit down as you're ramping somebody up.
2 up, 2 down. Here's Carlos Correa. First one from Buehler is pinpoint to the outside edge at an easy 97. Some guys have power, some guys have command. Very few consistently have both like he does. I mean, he didn't get the call, but putting it right where he wants it.
High cutter, but it was a strike. Marquez behind the plate said just a little high, but electronically it said okay. Getting a nice low strike zone down there. It's hard to say, but earlier in Walker's career.
That pitch is crushed to left, and Carlos Correa with a home run. And Buehler knew it as soon as he let it go. Left it up. Yeah, the first hit of the game for the Astros is a home run to make it 1-0.
It's a home run anywhere, but it's a no doubter when you release a slider like that and see it gets hit. You don't have to turn and watch to see where it goes. You know it's gone, and Walker gave that kind of reaction. A slider that just is like a cement mixer. It's showing itself early, it's spinning like a slider, and it's staying right in the hitter's eyes, and they don't miss those.
First of the season for Correa, and it's 1-0 Houston as Reddick takes ball one.
What I was going to say earlier in Walker's career, the footwork was fast, the leg kick was fast, and then the arm was fast. Well, as he's gotten better and better and more precise with his pitches and his command and wanting to attack the strike zone, the feet have slowed down. The leg kick as it comes up has slowed down a little bit, and then it's speedier at the end. And I think it's a more deceptive delivery. It's very deliberate with the step back and then over the rubber, getting everything lined up. And then all of a sudden when his foot lands, it's arm speed at you.
Ahead of Reddick, 1-2. And gets him with a fastball blown by him at 97. But the Astros strike first on a home run from Correa. 1-0 after 2.
Do you know an outstanding educator in your community? If so, nominate them for a chance to be named a 2020 Spectrum Sports Marquee Educator presented by Shakey's Pizza. 2 lucky winners will receive $2,000 to help fund a brighter future for their students. Visit SpectrumEducator.com now for more information.
We move along to the 3rd inning. Framber Valdez has given up just 2 base runners, a walk and a hit with 2 out last inning. 9-1-2 coming up for LA. Here's Will Smith. Strike 1. Smith 1 for 7 against San Francisco. 1 hit, a home run. That took the head off of a cardboard cutoff. Almost. On by a thread of his neck. Lifted to center field. That sends Springer back to make the catch for out number 1.
These player-fan relationships have fallen a little flat.
Ooh, nice. So second time through the lineup for the Dodgers as Betts comes to the plate, having grounded to second his first time. Really hit it up the middle and found the second baseman Altuve positioned perfectly.
Are you back in the saddle with 4 at 6-3?
Yeah, you?
Oh yeah,
Kind of like riding a bike.
Now it is.
Yeah, with the shifting, and so far a huge increase from shifting across baseball, even from last year, which was a huge increase from the year before. A backdoor breaker and strike 1. Line drive right center field that Reddick will cut off. So Mookie's hit it hard a couple times, but nothing to show for it. 2 up and 2 down for Valdez.
Miguel Cabrera the other day faced like a 7-man outfield.
Yeah. That's new.
They were the infielders were a good 30 to 40 feet past the edge of the grass, and then the 3 outfielders were spread out.
You have to consider bunting even Miggy.
Yeah, I mean, he grounded out to deep second base, and he wasn't even close to being safe.
So did you score 4 at 9-3?
Pretty much shallow 9. You might have to go S9 or something, because there was still a 9 out there.
Breaking ball just missed by a touch. It's 1-0. Lefty on lefty. Here it comes. Fouled it off himself. 1-1.
I think that's number 2 for fouling balls off that front foot for Max. They just go by the wayside as far as watching a game, but they don't go by the wayside for the player. That might be with him the rest of the season.
Yeah, forgettable for the rest of us, even his teammates, but he's going to have a reminder of that every time he wakes up for the coming days. Trying to get something going with 2 outs as they've done so frequently so far this year. A 1-1 pitch. Once he watches it miss low, ball 2.
Valdez has given everything the Astros wanted. Yes, he's been a little bit wild. The pitch count is still under control, but he's keeping the Dodgers off balance and especially landing that curveball.
On 2-1, he goes back to the fastball and it's hit foul. 2-2. Road for the first time this year. There are a lot of layers to that in 2020. That means Muncy with a fly ball to center field. Springer moves back to put it away and end the inning. Just 9 pitches for Valdez in the 3rd.
In Houston, the Dodgers are missing the fans, and we are certainly missing the fans here at Dodger Stadium. But there is a way to bring Dodger Stadium to you. You can actually go on Postmates, guys, because now there is a home plate section on Postmates where you can get food served at Dodger Stadium right to your front door. You can have the chicken tenders. You have Dodger dogs if you would like to do that. They also have pizza. Right now, it's just in Hollywood and West Hollywood, but they're hoping to be able to expand the area. Easy to do. Just search for LA Dodgers home plates in your Postmates app. Or, guys, you can go to Dodgers.com/home plates for the full menu and information. I have pizza, Dodger dogs, and chicken tenders. I know you guys got some different stuff.
Yeah, they did make a delivery up here. Oral made a special order. Kyle Tucker leads off this 3rd inning for the Astros and falls behind Buehler 0-2.
There's a double Dodger burger up here and also some spicy chicken. We knew, Joe, that you'd probably stay away from the burger, go chicken. So I don't know about the spicy part for you.
Yeah, you should keep studying the whole diet thing, I think.
Okay.
That the burger would be the...
You'd rather go burger than chicken?
Probably, because you got to figure out what kind of chicken it is. Spicy chicken's not the healthiest. So if I was going by healthy, but I'm not going healthy. I'm just choosing what tastes best. And
is spinach on the menu?
No, you can get salads. You can.
Yep.
Yeah. Here comes an 0-2. Barely gets a piece to stay alive as 8-9-1 come up for the Astros here in the 3rd.
Walker continues to pound the strike zone. The home run didn't scare him away from that. Over 75% strikes.
His 0-2 gets him swinging. 3rd K for Buehler.
That cutter has been outstanding. Not a lot of innings under his belt as far as prepping for this debut. A couple of side works, facing some hitters in a simulated game. But the cutter has been around 93, 94 with late movement.
Here's a 9-hitter, Martin Maldonado, and while he's the 9-hitter, he's also been probably their best hitter so far, right there with Michael Brantley. 5 for 11 in the opening series. Strike 1 with a fastball at 96. So Walker went home to Lexington during the quarantine. Built a couple decks. Read some books. Mostly reads the books not on a tablet or a Kindle or the real thing, but on his iPhone.
He's got some good eyes.
He did before he started reading the book off the iPhone. Seager at short gets Maldonado 2 away.
laser focus.
On the iPhone, you mean?
Yeah, laser focus, because you can read books off an iPhone.
Just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And
Well, I hope he at least turns it horizontal. Get a little bigger print.
Right. Springer grounded his short his first time. He takes a fastball to the bottom of the zone, strike one. I think when we talked to him during the quarantine on the podcast, he was busy reading a book on Charles Manson. Interesting choice, Walker.
Yeah.
Springer reaches out, hooks that off the end of the barrel to Pollock and left. That is a 1-2-3 inning on 9 pitches. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Order Jack's $5.99 Southwest Cheddar Cheeseburger Combo for delivery and make it a double for $1 more. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop NissanUSA.com. Back in Houston, where Carlos Correa's solo home run has produced the only run of the game. On to the 4th inning. Joe Davis or Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, Justin Turner to lead off this inning. Taking ball one from Framber Valdez. Turner flied to left his first time. Dodgers only have 1 hit against Valdez. It was Pollock's single in the second. Turner lifts it in the air to center. Springer goes back, edge of the track, and the ball just doesn't seem to really be flying that well tonight. So far for the Dodgers, 1 away.
They need to try a different area other than center field. 409 out there too, so you've got to absolutely crush it there. Get a few of these either going to right center or left center, you get some damage.
Here's Bellinger. How about back when they had Tales Hill out there? Take a Ruthian shot to get it out to center. Something this guy's capable of doing. Struck out his first time, noteworthy because it's his first K of the year. The guy that had the single biggest improvement in strikeout rate in baseball last year from 2018 to 2019. Struck out about a quarter of the time in 2018. It was down 16% in 2019.
Also made huge improvements against lefties.
Yeah, so much so that he became the best left-handed hitter against left-handed pitching in the National League. Same guy that was platoon the World Series before. Valdez gets in on him. Shifted around. There's Correa, and a close play goes the way of the Astros. It's like Correa realized midway through his delivery there that, oh my goodness, that's right. He can run like a deer.
Yeah, the flaw would have been not charging that ground ball. Once he laid back on it, he gave Bellinger a chance.
Quickly 2 gone here in the 4th inning, and Chris Taylor lined out to center his first time. One of the handful of hard hit balls the Dodgers have had tonight. In fact, they've had 4 balls that would be considered hard hit, and all 4 of them have been caught. Chris Taylor, who started that 17 World Series against Houston with a home run on the very first pitch. He's got another hard hit, but perfectly positioned is Altuve. On one bounce, he gets him. Dodgers down in order in the 4th, down 1-0 in Houston.
Friday on an all-new Backstage Dodgers, Dustin May puts his name in the record books with his opening day start. Plus, Edwin Rios is mic'd up for his first opening day in the big leagues. Don't miss an all-new Backstage Dodgers Friday after the postgame on Sportsnet LA.
2, 3, and 4 for Houston here in the bottom of the fourth. This is Jose Altuve to lead it off against Buehler. He's given up just one hit so far, but it left the yard, a Correa home run. The little man took a big swing right there. Altuve 5'6", 168. And he hit 31 home runs last year. Even though he missed about a month with a knee injury. He had surgery the offseason before, got off to a really slow start, still not 100% with that knee, and he says that the IL stint pretty much saved his season. It allowed that knee to get entirely healthy and him to get right for the rest of the year. Finds himself in an 0-2 hole. Pulls a slider to third for Justin Turner. One away. Here's Bregman. Now, Bregman has historically been a really slow starter. Decently slow start so far this year, just 4 for 17. Started his career 1 for 34. Normally, slow starters, whatever, they figure it out and they find their way. But being a slow starter is a whole different thing in a 60-game season.
There's a component of being a slow starter in a 60-game season, which is the calendar's getting short. Slow starter with 162, it doesn't affect your emotions as much. I can see the, gripping it a little too tight, pressing. Those are emotions that can come in when the calendar is getting short and you're still not off the schneid.
A 2-1 pitch. Off the end of the bat, right side, going to be tough with the positioning. Muncy, a nice play. Buehler covering, 2 out. Now, word from AT&T TV.
Watch the local sports you love on AT&T TV.
And the same thing can be said, Oral, for team slow starts. And the Dodgers are a team who, during the 7 division title run, 4 times below 500 at the end of April.
You can look at the computer screen and you can see those numbers, and they're flat on the screen as historic numbers for 60 games. But that flat screen does not tell you the emotions of knowing the finish line's a lot closer. Slow start is a completely different animal this year.
1-1 on Brantley. Line to second his first time.
Then you add in the no fans. Then you add in all the different things that you're having to learn of a new culture of how to get to the park, be at the park, travel, eat. With no outs, I probably want my defense slightly different.
Slashed in the air to left towards the corner. Pollock a long way to go, has to play it on a bounce. He'll hold Brantley to a single. Just the second Houston hit.
With 2 outs right there and the big shift with Brantley, who uses the whole field, I think you can go ahead and think that he might be going yard or trying to go deep and pull conscious a little bit more. And as you can see, he still uses the whole field, goes down the left field line. But with no outs or 1 out, where you don't want him to get that easy base hit over here to the left side, I think you'd want your defense a little bit shifted over in the infield, and I think the Dodgers would probably do that.
Gurriel stands in with 2 out, 1-0 game in the fourth. so much more of a widespread, generally speaking, acceptance of aggressive defensive shifting from pitchers and from everybody as the years have gone on.
Yeah, you don't really see the pitchers shake their head anymore when the ball kind of squeaks through and beats the shift. They now know the data themselves and how many outs the shift has gotten them.
One of the rare times Buehler's fallen behind. 50 pitches in. Dave Roberts said about 4 innings, about 65 pitches. Nobody warming in the Dodger bullpen. You can see that all the way from Los Angeles. 3-0. By the way, what an incredible job by our production crew to make this seem as normal as possible, calling this game from Los Angeles. We're going to do all the road games. That's a 4-pitch walk.
We're also probably near the emptying of the tank for Walker Buehler, where you hit those walls and you need to get adjusted to the next level of energy. Before, if you were continue on in the game, the energy would come back and you'd start to feel stronger. But there is a point where you hit a wall like a long distance runner and you got to push through that wall. And here in a 1-0 game with the offensive struggling, this is a key at bat.
Against the guy that homered his first time, Carlos Correa, former first overall pick and then rookie of the year and then an all-star in 17. But he's missed almost half of the game since he was an all-star that year. Last year limited to just 75 games. He fractured a rib. He hurt his back. It was the 3rd year in a row that he'd missed at least 50. And he's gone from being looked at as the next big star to somewhat of a disappointment lately for Houston. No disappointment though his first time up for Houston fans as we look at StatCast powered by Google Cloud, his first home run of the year.
Hanging slider that he did not miss. See the 81 miles an hour going in and over 105, almost 106 going out.
That's 6 straight balls from Buehler.
If you're getting a little tired and going for a little extra, sometimes that extra is right before foot strike and that takes you offline. You got to trust your lower half and get into your landing leg before you fire. And sometimes you get that fatigue, you start to breathe a little harder, and if you go for the extra effort before your front foot lands, it turns into a pull or a jerk. And you just got to trust you're good enough and strong enough.
One thing we know we'll never have to worry about with Walker, right? Trusting that he's good enough.
No. He's got a very healthy ego.
Yeah. 2 on, 2 out, 2-1. Correa lines the ball to center field down in front of Bellinger for a base hit. Here comes Brantley. Here comes Bellinger's throw. Not in time. And a 2-out RBI single for Carlos Correa, who's driven in both.
2-out secondary lead and you're off at the crack of the bat, and that's why Bellinger didn't have a shot at him. It was a good job charging this line drive, a good job with the throw, but because there's 2 out, right, there's no hesitation. Crack of the bat, you are gone. Well executed all the way around. Just another run for the Astros.
So Correa, who drove in 2 in the 4-game series against Seattle, has driven in 2 tonight. And there is action in that Dodger bullpen. Adam Kolarek. Very right-handed heavy lineup. A couple lefties coming up in the order here with Reddick and Tucker. And it looks like by that reaction, Dave Roberts may be coming.
They send Will Smith and the infielders in to chat with him. So it's either going to be give Kolarek time for this hitter, or you got one more hitter, and it looks like that is it.
A one base runner through the first 3 2/3, but then 3 in a row here with 2 gone in the 4th will end Buehler's season debut. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by AT&T TV. Find the local sports you love on AT&T TV. And by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Playing it safe. Good times. Dodgers still looking for some good times in Houston. Down 2-0. Last of the 4th inning. Walker Buehler abruptly has his night end, giving up 3 consecutive 2-out base runners, and hands it over oral to the lefty, Adam Kolarek.
W on opening day with a lengthy outing for him, an inning and 2/3. Adam, one of those guys that really had to work diligently in the offseason, knowing that there was going to be a 3-batter minimum. Here with 2 outs, though, can get out of the inning, and then Dave Roberts can pull him. Or if Dave Roberts elects to have him go through the lefties, he can come back out of the dugout after the Dodgers hit, go back at him. If he does that, he's got to go face at least 2 more batters. So the 3-batter minimum comes back into play, even though he could be taken out after getting out of this inning.
What do you think of the rule?
I got to continue to watch it. I think it's a challenge, and I think it eliminates a little bit of the armchair quarterbacking that all fans like to talk about, and the same thing with the DH. So it makes it more into a strength against strength game.
Josh Reddick almost gets hit, gets to the backstop, and the runners advance to 2nd and 3rd.
The interesting thing is I think it's I think they're going to speed up the game, and B, they're going to give it a little more advantage to the offense, because you can get a matchup now, and it's going to be one that the offense likes better than the defense.
Second and 3rd, 2 gone. Kolarek comes home with a 1-0, and Reddick punches one to short. Seager's got it to save at least a run. Oh, we've seen him so good at the plate this summer in camp and to start the season, but pretty darn good defensively too, moving really well. That great diving play to finish the 4th. Corey Seager will lead off this 5th inning for the Dodgers, following a really nice, important defensive play to finish off the bottom of the 4th.
Home run, a base hit, scored one, and that one saved one.
At the plate, Seager walked his first time. And will lead off this inning in front of Pollock and Hernandez. Dodgers down 2-0. Framber Valdez in the rotation with the injuries. This is inside with the first one. 1 ball, no strikes. Corey has said going through what he's gone through the last couple of years of the injuries has given him a greater appreciation for the guys that play 150 games a season and post day after day and are consistent. And he always appreciated those guys, always aspired to be one of them, but now has such a great appreciation for how hard that is to do. Lines a ball into left center field for a leadoff hit. Dodgers have the leadoff man on for the first time. In fact, they have a man on before there are 2 out for the first time.
Well, he records the final out of last inning, and then before there's any out here, he's up at the plate and contributing again.
Listen to that sound.
Yeah. Whack.
Instead of bang.
Yeah. Do you want to get into that?
Oh, we got to at some point.
You're going to really get me going.
Here's Pollock. Go ahead.
I view the 2017 Dodgers as world champions, and I think that their legacy should be that. It won't be, but it should be. They were ripped off. I talked to Justin Turner and Clayton Kershaw, Kenley Jansen, A lot of the guys, and all of them to a man will tell you that any conversation they get into with fans, at some point in the conversation it comes up, I'm still waiting for you guys to win a world championship. And they can't come back with, we should have, we would have, because it sounds like sour grapes. So it hurts everything. It's such a butterfly effect that it has changed all of their lives.
1 ball, 1 strike on A.J. Pollock. And this is what it really sunk in for me. You said that every day of your life since '88 would have been different if McGuire, Canseco, and so on had known what was coming. Every day.
Exactly. Clayton Kershaw did not have a breaking ball that was swung and missed at in the game in Houston, where he ended up looking like the GOAT again. The game that went, what, 13-12?
Yep.
I had Parker and Canseco swinging and missing at breaking balls in the dirt, ones that were wide. If they knew they were coming, they'd have been taking them right out of my hand, and they would have been sitting on my fastball. And I would not have been on the Johnny Carson show. I would not have been at the last Reagan State dinner sitting next to Margaret Thatcher. I wouldn't have been getting a contract that was one of the highest paid in the game. Might have been a GOAT.
Ground ball, base hit for Pollock, who is 2 for 2. GOAT in the older sense, not.
Yeah, GOAT in the negative sense.
You know, the Kershaw one is the one that really hurts. Clayton Kershaw in the World Series at home in 2017 gave up a run in 11 innings, struck out 15, walked 2. Game 5 at Houston, 6 runs in 4 2/3. 2 Ks, 3 walks. And you talked about the breaking ball. He threw 51 and didn't get a single swing and miss.
And that's a breaking ball that disappears.
That's a Hall of Fame breaking ball.
Yeah, when you get a breaking ball from Clayton Kershaw, immediately you know it's coming. You can zone in, and I'm only going to hit it if it starts above my waist, because then I know it's going to be at my knees, maybe at the end. But if it starts at the knees, it's going to be in the dirt. And that back foot breaking ball that he gets so many people to swing and miss at, they didn't miss not a one.
There's some action down in the Houston bullpen. Noli Paredes. The Dodgers threatening, 2 on, nobody out here in the 5th. You know, opposing starters against the Astros in the 2017 postseason. They had a combined 31 All-Star game appearances. They had an ERA above 8.
Oh my gosh.
Those All-Star starters in the 2017 postseason in Houston. The only game that the Astros lost that postseason in their home ballpark, Alex Wood pitched it, and Alex Wood was extra paranoid about sign stealing. That's ball 1 on Kike Hernandez. Took a no-hitter into the 6th. Gave up a run in 5 2/3. Everybody else a little more careless looking back. They had an ERA above 8.
Alex was changing his signs every inning. He was changing his signs mid-inning. He had signals with what signs he was using with the catcher.
Hernandez grounds one through the left side, base hit. They will hold Seager, and they are loaded up on 3 consecutive singles to open the 5th.
Let's get this Dodger train going. They're going station to station right now. They need an express. An express that'll give them some runs. Might have to end up getting the runs off of the bullpen.
With the 9-hitter Will Smith coming up with the bases loaded.
Dusty Baker allowing him to go one more hitter.
Smith, who flied to center his first time, trying to make him pay. Watches the first one spin inside, and it's 1-0.
That wasn't a routine fly. That was well struck. It would have been out to left and out to right, but not out to the 409 mark in center field.
There have been a lot of hard hit balls in this game. Just hadn't found any holes until this inning. Credit partially to the Astros defensive positioning. partially to some poor luck. Smith to right. Here comes Reddick. Catches it on a line. He will gun it home. And the runners hold. So Smith retired, one away. Bases still loaded and still a 2-0 deficit.
These Astro outfielders, they trust their ability to go back. They've been playing some good defense in front of them. Reddick with a nice break on that one and a strong throw to hold everybody at their station.
Yeah, and that will be the final hitter that Valdez faces. Dusty Baker will go into the bullpen for the top of the order, and Mookie Betts, who again finds himself in the middle of things, ready to come up with the bases loaded in a 2-0 game in the 5th. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealer. Get great deals on a bold new Camry at Toyota's We Make It Easy sales event. And by Mercury Insurance. Low rates, big discounts, great insurance. 2-0 game, top of the 5th in Houston. As Enoli Paredes comes in. How about this? The Astros, Oral, have 7 relievers available today. Those 7 relievers combine for 17 days of service in the majors.
Dave Roberts said the last 2 games against San Francisco, they changed pitchers very often, and there were a bunch of guys that we hadn't seen very much. Well, you're going to get the same thing out of the Houston bullpen as you got out of the San Francisco bullpen. So they're going to have to see ball, hit ball.
The spotlight has been on Mookie Betts simply because of the trade and the contract, but the spotlight of the game has found him, it seems, each game so far, as he's found himself up in big situations time after time and trying to come through. So far, though, he's left more men on base than any hitter in baseball this year. 4 grand slams in his career on a 1-0 pitch. He checks his swing, ball 2.
This is where you can't let the emotions, if you're Mookie Betts, of slow start, hitting 136, don't come out of your game right here. Pass the baton, which was a huge asset for the Dodgers last year.
Bases loaded, 2-run game in the 5th. 2-0 to Mookie Betts. Buzzes him inside, ball 3.
Those are the easiest pitches to take. The ones at you.
I'm just going to get out of the way.
Yeah, you don't really usually hit with those.
Now Betts, in addition to the pop and the high slugging totals, has always had a good eye. Always had almost as many walks as Ks. And a 3-0 driver's seat here. He takes ball 4 and gets the Dodgers on the board with a bases loaded walk.
Mature professional at bat.
So Seager's in. It's 2-1. And Betts passes the baton to Muncy. First run the Dodgers have scored since the 3rd on Sunday. And a chance for more here. Muncy, who's 0 for 2 on the first one from Paredes. Watches it spin inside, ball 1. It's been a consistently tight zone from Alfonso Marquez. Took a strike there, 1-1.
That looked like he was taking all the way. He's going to make him earn his way back into the count. Plus picking up information on the release point of somebody he's hardly never saw, maybe just in video.
Ready again. Backdoor slider puts him in a 1-2 hole. If it's possible for an empty ballpark to have a big game feel to it, a game to have somewhat of an edge to it, this one feels like it has it. This moment at least, with the bases loaded. 1 away in the 5th. Paredes to Muncy with a 1-2 pitch. He pushes it left side. It's picked up by Bregman, who comes home, and the ball is dropped by Maldonado. Pollock scores, and the game is tied at 2. The Dodgers catch a break.
A couple of things to watch on this play. One is his foot on the plate, and he doesn't look like he holds the ball at all. Pops right out. Probably hits him right in the center of the glove, which is one of the hardest places to catch a ball as a catcher. Yep, right in dead center. Foot was on the plate. Get it in the webbing, get it on the toe, it stays in there, but right in the middle is where the hinge doesn't really work. Slightly above the crease. That ball just wants to rattle around and come out. Should have used 2 hands if he could still stretch out there and get it.
And so back to square one, tied at 2 as Turner comes up. Bases still loaded. Strike 1. Likely going to be fielder's choice with an error that allows that tying run to score. Oh, and 2 on Turner. This is where the Dodgers were particularly good the first 2 days of the season with runners in scoring position. Nearly as good the last couple days, going just 2 for 14 in these situations. Here they've set the table with 3 hits. They've tied the game with a bases loaded walk from Betts, and with a fielder's choice error. I guess part of the vibe and the edge that we're talking about is the obvious between these two teams, but part of it I think is the dynamic of a 60-game sprint creeping into our consciences. Every game means that much more. The 0-2. Turner punches it through the right side, base hit to give the Dodgers the lead. Hernandez in to score. Station to station they go again, and an RBI single for Turner makes it 3-2.
You go back in this inning and the guys get on early. Base hit, base hit, base hit, station to station. But now you had bases loaded, no out. You get the line drive to right, which doesn't kill the rally. There's only 1 out with Will Smith's bullet. Justin Turner keeps it going here with 2 outs. And because of the fielder's choice error on Max Muncy's ball and the walk to Mookie Betts, the Dodgers are on top.
Bases still loaded. Big hitter still up as Cody Bellinger takes his turn. Paredes, what a tough spot to come into in the 3rd game of his major league career. Good stop by Maldonado on ball 1. Dusty Baker really with no choice but to throw the young kid in. Got nothing but young kids available down there right now. It's not just Justin Verlander who's hurt. Several key pieces of the bullpen out as well. One-0. Strike 1.
First 2 curveballs he's thrown of this outing. It's been fastball slider to all the other pitches, but Cody has gotten 2 deuces.
On the ground through the right side, another hit. Betts is in to score. The throw comes home, and station to station again, singling them to death here in the 5th. They lead it 4-2.
Dusty going to make another move.
That is 5 singles in this inning. Dodgers went the first 4 innings, had just 1 hit. 5 singles and a walk, and they flipped it around from down 2 to up 2 and threatening for more. leaving your home. Your official Dodger merchandise is available for curbside pickup or home delivery. See Instagram at Dodgers Top of the Park for details. Major League debut for Andre Scrub, who is a former Dodger farmhand, traded to the Astros last summer in exchange for Tyler White. Just as he always pictured it, right? With a bunch of cardboard cutouts staring holes through him.
This does help younger players, you know, not having fans there. That emotion, that extra emotion of moments that you dream about, and it'll probably, when fans get back in the ballparks, I'll bet you the nerves come back for some of these young guys, no matter what this experience is like.
Yeah, like debuting again. And he's thrown right into the fire. Bases loaded, 1 out, and the hitter is Chris Taylor, who has twice hit it hard, but is 0 for 2. 1 ball, no strikes. Taylor's really looked in rhythm so far with that swing. Like it during summer camp, especially the exhibitions to wrap up summer camp. As he's gotten going into game action. 2-0. Muncie's at third. Turner's at second, and Bellinger's at first.
Hey, Rob.
That's Turner and Bellinger with the RBIs in this inning. Down 2-0 to up 4-2, and now 3 balls, no strikes on Taylor with nowhere to put him.
Be patient, don't chase, get some innings going early. They're following instructions right here to have this 4-2 lead. These guys look like different hitters. Not trying to do too much, working counts, taking advantage of some pitches.
Oh, not catching any breaks. Bases loaded walk for Taylor makes it 5-2. That's 5 singles and a pair of walks in the inning. Both walks of the 4-pitch variety. And up comes Corey Seager. He started this inning with a hard line drive base hit a while back. Oh, 1.
You can talk about the lack of pitching depth on Houston now with all the injuries, but it's not bad when you're 3-1 as you start the season. But all of a sudden you see a game like this unravel. That's when reality hits you. This is when Dusty Baker looks out there and goes, okay, this is real. The names on the back are not working right now. It's a good breaking ball right here. Looks like he spikes it with his index finger. Spins that ball off his middle finger.
Good stop by Maldonado. 1-2. You mentioned Dusty Baker. Is there a more perfect guy to come in and steady the ship in Houston after A.J. Hinch was let go?
He's such a low-key, fantastic man to be around. He can make you relax better than almost anybody. And he can deflect a lot of stuff. He's been through it all.
2-2. Scrub wanted it. Won't get it. 2 decades playing Dusty Baker. That included some great years in Los Angeles. The World Championship in 1981. On 2-2. Seager grounds one right side. Altuve has it. Goes to Correa 1. Back to first. A double play. But the Dodgers played 5 in the 5th and flipped this thing around. Halfway home in Houston. Dodgers with 5 runs in the top of this inning. They lead the Astros 5-2 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And just going back, kind of putting a bow on the discussion last inning. Here are the sanctions that came down after MLB's official investigation into the Astros sign stealing 1-year suspensions for the GM Jeff Luhnow and for the manager A.J. Hinch. They were both subsequently fired by the Astros. They lost first and second round picks in 2020 and 2021. That's a big deal. $5 million fine. You look at that and say only $5 million, really? Well, that's the maximum allowed legally currently the way baseball is set up. So those were the sanctions. Of course, no players were hit with any kind of suspension or sanction as Bruce Gratterall comes in, misses with his first pitch, 1-0. I guess the one player affected would be a former player, Carlos Beltran, who, after he had been hired by the New York Mets to be their manager, was let go before he even managed a game. And stemming from this as well, as you see Gratterall touch 100 with ease, 2-0. Alex Cora suspended and lost his job in Boston. 2-0 to Kyle Tucker, a swing and a miss on 100, 2-1.
I know baseball would like to turn the page from 2017 and have it just kind of be in the distant past, but I think it's a disservice for us not to talk about it to the fans because the emotions are still raw, and I know they're raw for the players. And when you look across the field in this ballpark, sitting on the Dodger bench right now, staring out on the field, if you were on the 2017 team or if you're out there on the field, those memories of those games will flash back when you're out there. They cannot help but flash back. And so we have to cover it, and you have to kind of stir it up again. And I know the fans next year, if they're in the ballpark and we're playing the Astros, I think the Astros are still going to feel the Dodger faithfuls. They're how upset they were from 2017. These young men on the field that were on that team are going to have a lasting memory that they should have won the 2017 rings, the trophy, the parade,
the legacies,
the whole legacy. Cody was very outspoken. Justin Turner was, Clayton was, Kenley was, and they carry it with them. You cannot. I know they do because I carry things from my career still with me that aren't as big as getting cheated out of something.
Did he go? You bet he did. Gratterall comes back to get Tucker, one gone in the fifth.
The 97 World Series, I got hit around as a Cleveland Indian, and really we lost in extra innings in Game 7. So everybody on that roster felt like we could have won if I would have done something. Well, the Dodgers all felt that. And then piled on top of that, they've got cheating and people knowing what they're throwing and going toe to toe with a team that has a huge advantage. This is like playing poker and somebody can see your cards.
One gone, fifth inning. Here's Maldonado. That's rifled down the middle for a strike. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We've given you a few numbers. Bottom line, look at the OPS at home versus on the road. And in terms of runs per game, almost 7 per game at home, 3.5 per game at Dodger Stadium in that World Series. 0-2.
Kids going to school. Your kids go to school. My kids went to school and I was a world champion. They could walk with their head held high and everybody complimenting them and wanting to come over and play with them and do stuff and hang out at the house. And can your dad come to my Little League game and see me? These guys have kids that had to figure out a way to deal with walking down the hall and dad lost.
Think of Yu Darvish.
Oh,
I know that was at home, and so there are some questions. You know, did they have something legally and cleanly or what? But you can't help but wonder what was going on. And Yu Darvish talked about one of the reasons he couldn't think about re-signing in LA is because he couldn't think about his kids having to go to school with the last name Darvish, having gone through what he went through in that Game 7. And again, that was at home, so could be different, but it's hard not to think about it in the same light.
He was a Mookie Betts type acquisition that they wanted to continue to sign. That was a guy they wanted, but after that they really couldn't with his desires not to be here, and probably even the Dodger fans saying it's got to just time to let him go.
How about that slider when you compare it with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, Earl?
Yeah, he really, if he perfects an off-speed pitch Right-handed hitters hit over 300 off of him last year. Left-handed hitters struggled, and I think because his fastball is so electric and he can get on top of it with the left-handed hitter and kind of tail it away from him or bust him inside. But when he gets the breaking ball going, the righties are going to be the ones with the lower average.
Here's a righty, and George Springer taking ball one. There are 10 Dodgers on the active roster currently. There are 8 Astros on the active roster currently that were also on those 2017 World Series rosters. Like Alana said, many of them have said that at this point their attention is more on snapping a 2-game losing streak than it is on avenging what went down in 2017. Got a lot of it, at least publicly, out of their systems during spring training, and publicly now saying they're ready to move on. 2-2 on Springer. And so we will do the same and focus here on this 2020 season without ever forgetting what the 2017 World Series was. Full count.
I run into Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, Doc Good, and different people, you know, Darryl Strawberry, and we have such respect for each other. Even though we competed against each other, they won, we won, but I don't think that respect will ever come back for Astros when Dodgers run into them.
It's a big bouncer that Hernandez fields and guns to first to get him, and a 1-2-3 fifth for Buffalo, as they call him. 5-2 Dodgers after 5.
T-Mobile is your ticket to the game. Now through August 3rd, customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB.
Dodgers got all 5 in the 5th. 5-2 lead to the 6th, and here's A.J. Pollock, who has singled twice tonight. We were talking about what AJ went through during the quarantine. AJ and his wife Kate. For AJ, his time was pretty much split in 2 places. He was either at the NICU with Maddie or the batting cage that he's lucky enough to have at his house. A pop fly here. How lucky are you to have that set up when you can't leave the house? It's caught by Springer. For the first out of the 6. A word from Fix Auto.
At Fix Auto, every collision repair center is open, following all guidelines to keep you and your loved ones safe.
Now, there are some guys who do have those cages in their house, or some guys that still had access to cages, but we've heard of guys setting up nets on their apartment roofs. Mauricio Dubon of the Giants, he ordered some stuff off Amazon and built a little cage to still get hacks in. Here's Hernandez taking a strike. Some guys said, look, we don't know when it's going to start back up. It's hard to get on any kind of program here, and so just for a while shut it down. I think Mookie Betts was one of those guys who said for a while it was just no baseball activities. Of course he worked out and kept in shape, but he said, look, I'm going to use this as extra family time, which I'm never going to have back. And then once there was a date, started to focus on getting the swing fresh again. Hernandez down swinging, quickly 2 away in the 6th.
Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. There wasn't anybody in the world that didn't order something from Amazon.
What do we do before Amazon? Jeez. That Jeff guy, really smart idea.
Went to the store.
Will Smith drops in, strike 1 from Scrub. Got to do prime though, right? Like, if it's between this set of whatever silverware and that set, you're going with the one that you can get next day prime. Always.
There's something visceral about going to the store and picking it out and seeing the item and
Sure.
holding it. And I'm slowly getting over that, but I'm still not a online over-the-top shopper. Now Dana is for daily things and things. If you got a pair of jeans that fit you really well and you know the exact brand, the exact size you need,
Stick with that.
yeah, get another one. Okay.
Right.
But if I'm going to try on a new product, I want to touch it and feel it, see if it fits.
Well, I think clothes shopping is a different thing.
Yeah.
Clothes shopping is hard to do online. I think there are many people that would disagree with that. I'm talking like Amazon. You need, oh shoot, we're out of this.
Right.
You know, swipe, buy now. Love it.
Paper towels.
Buy now.
Yep.
In bulk. Half-hearted swing and a miss. Good inning for Andre Scrub. Gets the first couple Ks of his major league career.
At home during Dodger games, cats have been added to Pups and Cats in the Park, presented by Lucy Pet Foods. Proceeds benefit Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation. For information, visit dodgers.com/fan-cutouts.
After an inning from Gratterall, here's Joe Kelly for his second outing this year. In his first one on Saturday, he threw 15 consecutive curveballs.
And then iced his elbow. He's been working really hard on throwing a lot more strikes. Everybody has seen the video when he was working on a changeup online. Ended up breaking a window at his house.
Oops.
I don't think I threw 15 consecutive curveballs in my career ever. Maybe 7 or 8, but not 15.
After the off day, this bullpen fully loaded up. Got a quick inning from Gratterall, and now it's Kelly to face 2, 3, and 4 with Jose Altuve to lead it off. Goes after the first pitch and flies it to short left. Back goes Seager. 1 pitch, 1 out. So Altuve is 0 for 3, and up comes Bregman, who's 0 for 2.
A bullpen meltdown can get into the psyche of the offense, too. And I think the Astros will probably be dealing with a little bit of that reality of how much do we have to do on offense to kind of cover the bullpen or cover the pitching staff until they get healthy.
That is very much the predicament for this team right now. Really good offensively. In fact, historically good offensively last year. And off to a good start this year, more than 7 runs per game. But the pitching is not in a good place. It was not deep even before Verlander was placed on the injured list. And even before a couple of their back end relievers went down with injuries.
Were there any announcements pregame about signing an older veteran that was playing independent ball?
Yeah, how about that one, huh? Fernando Rodney is playing for the Sugarland Skeeters, an independent team in Texas, and the Astros are trying to sign him and get him to the park in time to be available tonight. I don't think they officially pulled off the move in time for tonight, but sounds like he could be ready for tomorrow. 43-year-old Fernando Rodney. 3-0 on Bregman.
Shooting arrows into the sky.
Down in Sugarland. The Skeeters.
It's like Bartolo Colon.
Yeah. Kelly. Home 3-0. Oof. Just get away from him.
Yeah, I think that one slipped. There was a vibe all the way here to Dodger Stadium in our booth that I felt like this would be an interesting game, and I didn't know if it would turn into fireworks, but that could have been the first salvo.
Let's remember, this is a guy that put out a window with a changeup earlier this summer. But
3-0, I'm probably going to walk you, and maybe it'd just be easier if I don't waste any more pitches battling.
Do you see Bregman's reaction there right before the replay cut off? He started to kind of, oh my gosh, and roll his eyes at the same time.
Yeah.
So here's Brantley in a 5-2 game in the 6th.
That's the other way to send a message if you're a pitcher and a guy gets on, and then you try and throw it for the head first dive guys to the inside part toward their ribs.
Really? Is that a
yeah.
trick you used to pull?
Oh yeah.
So you could hit batters even when they weren't batters anymore.
Right. As you pick it off, you throw it about 8 inches off the ground, and your first baseman, you throw it really hard, so the first baseman's glove has to keep going. And if you miss it,
oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, you got to throw
fastballs.
it. You see how low you could throw it right into their ribs. I'm not condoning anything. I'm just
explaining what you did.
Just explaining the culture.
Yeah. This is what goes on. One more time. At least. It's funny, Dylan Hernandez from the LA Times tweeted us earlier tonight and said, please ask Oral about the different ways he used to bend the rules. I didn't even have to ask. He just went there.
Dylan has my phone number. He can call.
There's your next story, Dylan. Hitting base runners in the ribs at first. First pitch to Brantley, strike one. You know, Joe Kelly, of course, was not on the 2017 Dodgers. He was on the 2018 Red Sox. Came in and won the World Championship that year. Joe Kelly is the kind of guy that his teammates love him, and his teammates know that he's the kind of guy that they would love to, you know, it's cliche, but go into battle with.
Right. You want him in your bunker.
Yeah.
And hitters have ways to delivering messages too. You'll see hitters drag bunt and have to run down the first base line, and at the 45-foot line, all of a sudden they're pretty even with the pitcher. Sometimes, I'm not saying they get spiked on purpose, but the feet can get tangled, or people can rub up against each other. Or you just want to be at first and make sure he's over at first when you're going that way.
Muncy goes to second, one. Seager back to first, not in time. They settle for one. Ooh, okay. So in empty stadiums, we pick up some things that we don't normally pick up. Apologies for whoever the potty mouth is.
Well, we know there's some emotion on the field right now. That's why Joe's looking. He slightly missed the base, and then he gets spiked a little bit, and that's why he glanced back at Brantley. This could wake some things up.
Here's Gurriel. In the middle of things in 2017. Kelly's first one. Fastball up 1-0. Cannot be comfy to be an Astros hitter right now. Joe Kelly is the most common answer from his teammates to the question, which teammate would you most want to ride shotgun with you through the toughest part of town?
Mm-hmm.
Here he comes with a 1-0 pitch. Ball 2 at 97.
He is having issues controlling his fastball, and we did see 15 breaking balls in his first outing of the year in a row. So you can see right now he's having trouble finding the range with the number 1.
And then that breaking ball misses inside, and the count goes to 3-0. Real reaches. Correa would come up representing the tying run.
Action in the Dodger bullpen. Caleb Ferguson is starting to warm.
That is a 4-pitch walk, and the tying run will come up against Kelly.
Joe can have these kind of outings where his stuff is electric, but it's wild and almost like a knuckleballer, you know, and then when they zone it back in, all of a sudden they're out of the inning. And that's what Mark Pryor is looking for right here. Come out there with something in his toolbox that he and Joe have talked about in the past when he has been wild high, maybe something Mark noticed. And Mark has told us, he's been on our podcast and said, I don't go out there with a lot of mechanical fixes. He would rather just kind of change their brain chemistry as far as their psyche, but then all of a sudden go out there and start trying to fix something.
3 strikes out of the 12 pitches. Does this now change your opinion of what that pitch to Bregman was at all? Sorry to put you on the spot on that, but
I would say no, just because the count was 3-0.
Okay.
And I think it was, I really don't know where this is going, and I don't mind if I end up missing inside. But we will never know the answer.
We never will. No. It's part of what makes it all so fun. This game, baseball. 2 on, 2 out. Correa 2 for 2 tonight. Look out. That was a off-speed pitch that spills him. Correa now looking out there. Not to say you're trying to throw at me, but to say, man, control it, putting us in danger.
Well, the best thing you can do on this pitch, whether it is an accident, definitely on a breaking ball, but do not apologize. Let the fear, let the mystery of what was that about, let that linger in the hitter's eyes and in the mind.
Second and third, 2 gone. A 1-0 pitch. You could tell that it was lingering, but whatever is in Correa's head now probably not bothering him as much as whatever's in Kelly's head. So he just doesn't look right. Only 3 strikes out of the 14 pitches.
Everything is coming out of his hand early. I mean, he's almost throwing the ball. It feels like you're throwing it behind your ear instead of out in front of your face.
Joe has said before that when things go like this, it tends to be because he's overthinking it. A lot of guys would say that. Ferguson appears ready. First base open. The left-handed batting Reddick due next. A 2-0. Got a swing and a miss. Why in the world are you swinging it for Carlos Correa?
He's cheating, trying to tie the game up, and he didn't get what he wanted. He wanted a fastball down the middle. It looks like that, and he was just starting early, guess hitter.
See if Kelly can take advantage of that little dose of help from Correa. 2-1 is foul, and it's 2-2.
Joe taking out his little cheat sheet, carrying a scouting report there in his back right pocket. Might actually be changing signs too to set number 2, since there's been a man on second here for a while. Big pitch in this game.
Correa has been the only guy that's done anything tonight for Houston. 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 from Joe Kelly. Line down the line foul.
You got a guy who's hot, who feels like the hero of the game. You got him in swing mode. It's not time to throw him a breaking ball for a strike. We got to go back to that 2-0 breaking ball that looked like a strike, ended up like a ball, and made Correa look sick. The Astro hitters now know that to get a strike, he's defaulting to his breaking ball. So give them what they're looking for, but put it in a hard place to hit. That one there is not in a hard place to hit. Start it right at Will Smith's mask and break it away from him.
Here it comes. That's just what he did, and he got a swing and a miss from Correa to get out of the inning. Oh, Joe Kelly strutting his way off after an interesting inning. All right, so the benches have cleared, and we'll do our best to maintain social distancing while still sending a message, both sides.
I would definitely think that the word cheater has been used at least a dozen times.
I kind of just want to sit here and listen, since you can hear just about everything.
This isn't going to go away for a while.
Back in a moment. Joe Kelly looked like put a little bit of the pain on his back there, and it got interesting, didn't it?
It sure did. I think some of these pitches were by mistake and some were on purpose. Those facial expressions were priceless.
Wasn't here in 2017, but a lot of his teammates were. And you feel like you learn quite a bit about him as a teammate just watching that. Dusty Baker and Dave Roberts just leaving the home plate area. I think we overheard there on the field mics that issues or warnings have been issued to both sides. As you figured it probably coming after that.
You find out somebody's cheating on the playground back in school, you're going to get some of those facial expressions the next time you play them. You know, this is like schoolyard stuff. This is like, you know what? You guys acted like children. You didn't act like grown men in 2017.
Mookie Betts taking ball 1. Now, you would not anticipate any retaliation here, would you?
Oh, with the warnings, if anything comes close to him, he could get kicked out. So he's got that penalty.
2-0.
Social distancing has really protected the Astros from a lot of the venom, not only on the field, but in the stands with the fans.
Social distancing and
with the all the articles that would be written about every incident or every time something like this comes up.
That's a half swing that will produce a base hit that has eyes into right field.
And then the interviews that come after that, these guys can't even be interviewed face to face. They go into a room and there's cameras and the reporters ask via Skype, via conference call, and so there's so much less pressure on them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that the Astros benefit more from, first off, the layoff, between spring training and the start of the season, and the fact that there are no fans. They benefit more than any other team, because every city they were going to go into, that was going to be the story. Here's Muncie.
And nobody was going to have any banner or poster rules when they came in, so they were going to get to read it, not only hear it but read it. Fans would come early for their batting practice and they would have a tougher time concentrating. There would be a tremendous amount of pressure on them.
We even saw it during spring training in Florida. Everywhere the Astros went, it was a thing. Mookie stole his first bag in a Dodger uniform on Sunday. Really good base runner, Mookie Betts. Above 80% success rate in his career on stolen bases. Averages about 25 a season. Such an aggressive base runner that he once stole 2 bases on 1 pitch.
Okay.
In his Fenway Park debut. Got a big enough lead where it looks like he may be thinking of going sometime soon here. Yeah, very first game at Fenway, very first opening day, I should say, at Fenway. He takes off, steals second, immediately pops up, sees nobody home at third, races there, dives in safely. That's one of 11 times that's happened in the history of the game. Here's a throw down to first, trying to take advantage of his aggressiveness. 2-0. He also scored from first on a single to right field to win a game in the final day of his career in Boston. A meaningless game. Red Sox, Orioles, both well out of first place. Last day of the year. That's ball 3 on Muncy. He leads off the inning with a walk. Tie game. He's at first. Rafael Devers punches a routine chopper through the right side. Routine chopper, not down the line, not up the middle. Betts turns around second, burns into third, sees the right fielder taking his time getting to the ball, keeps on going, and dives in home with the winning run to end his Red Sox career. A meaningless game where he scores from first on a single to right. That's a walk for Muncy, and the first 2 reaching the 7th.
That's the kind of thing a scout sees, and you say, we can trust him with a 12-year contract.
And doesn't it have to be the complete picture? Every box checked if you're going to make that kind of commitment to a player?
Yes, it does, especially when he hasn't even played a game for you.
Right. Here's Turner in a 5-2 game in the 7th. One and 0. One. Justin Turner has talked about how great it's been having Mookie around, how much fun he makes practice, how much fun he finds in every bit of work that he does. More action down in the Astros bullpen. We've talked about it before on some of the preseason games, but Mookie takes extra fielding work every day. Altuve puts that one away for the first out of the 7th. He's obviously an outfielder, but came up as an infielder and still every day takes ground balls at third, ground balls at short, ground balls at second, just in case, just so he's ready if an emergency arises.
And he doesn't do it alone.
He brings somebody with him each time.
And or with one of his infield teammates. So when Justin Turner's taking his extra grounders at third, Mookie's there with him. When Seager or Kike Hernandez are taking ground balls at short, Chris Taylor, he's with them.
Ball 1 on Cody Bellinger.
Amazing work ethic.
He's at second after leading off this inning with a single. Once he walked, he's at first. And on a 1-0 pitch to Cody Bellinger, he fouls it back, and it's 1-1. Because he got that work ethic from his parents. His mom, Diana, who grew up working on her grandpa's farm in Paducah, Kentucky from the time she was 5. Went on to work for the Tennessee Department of Transportation. Mookie's dad, Willie, an Air Force vet, served in Vietnam and became a railroad mechanic superintendent. Everything they did setting an example for Mookie, who learned how to work hard. lot of God-given ability. He'd be the first to tell you that, but he didn't just become what he's become with that. He is as hard of a worker on top of the unique world-class talent as we're going to find. And in the hands of Bellinger, Correa will tag Muncy. Up to third goes Betts. They're at the corners with 2 away.
Cody tried to pull his hands in, tried to get the barrel to it, but got jammed. Pretty routine right here just to get Muncy. You weren't going to get a double play with Bellinger running, and whether you flip it to second, which you really couldn't when you're shifted around, you got to tag the runner and that's it.
Two on, two out. Chris Taylor brought it around with a bases loaded walk his last time. Takes one way down and away. That's a big deal when your most talented player, I mean, you can argue all you want between Betts, Bellinger, whatever, but you know what I mean, is also one of your hardest workers and best examples.
For sure. It's one thing to give speeches in locker rooms and pep talks as you get on the bus or something. It's another thing just to live it. You don't even have to say a word.
Two 2-0. It's funny. I think people can probably hear that helicopter that just went by picking up on our microphones here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
While they play inside in Houston.
The police are checking. What? Why are there some lights on at Dodger Stadium?
Did somebody break in? Ball 3. I think Jaime Herrin, the Hall of Fame Spanish voice, came into the booth earlier and he said there are 10 people here. So there's Alana, you, me, Boyd Robertson, Rick Krajewski from our television group within the building right now. That's 5 of us.
Efren, their producer on the Spanish side. Did you count Jorge?
Pepe is here.
Pepe, Fernando. I think Alana has 1 or 2 crew members with her in the suite.
Do we have Matt on the other side of your wall here? I don't know. But the point is, yeah, you could be a helicopter flying over and thinking, wait a minute, that place is closed. Why are there a dozen people in there? That's a walk to load him up. Taylor's second free pass of the day. We had to make a call to get the AC turned on. Who do you call to turn the Dodger Stadium air conditioning on? I don't know, but our wonderful crew figured it out. Now a word from Jack in the Box.
Try my $5.99 Southwest Cheddar Cheeseburger Combo and make it a double for $1 more. Order now with no contact delivery.
The weirdest part, just before we move on this, is that we're obviously sitting in our booth, and I wish we could show you this, but looking out to the stadium, it's completely dark. The field is down there, but we are in a dark Dodger Stadium, just with our booth lit up. Here's Seager. Wanted to pull the trigger, but then didn't, and no swing. I think that check swing might have deked the home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez and bought Seager ball 1.
76, State Farm, Spectrum, Security Benefit, and Coca-Cola are keeping us company.
Yes.
Those are the only signs that are lit.
If you say that enough, you're going to keep your mailbox company with checks. Chopper that hits the base runner and ends the inning. We stretch in Houston and Los Angeles and all over the country and all over the world. Hope you're having a great night. 5-2 game. Back in a moment.
Introducing Quick Pick, MLB Rally's new. Offers fans the opportunity to pick outcomes and compete for cash prizes. Make your predictions count. Play Quick Pick. No purchase necessary. 21 plus to compete. Restrictions apply. See official rules and enter at MLB.com/QuickPick.
Caleb Ferguson comes into the game with the Dodgers in front 5-2, bottom of the 7th, and he's on for the part of the order that has a couple lefties in it. Josh Reddick and Kyle Tucker set to lead off this inning. One ball, no strikes. Reddick 0 for 2 tonight. He's struck out, he's lined out. 1-1.
This is one of those games that can unite the Dodger team, kind of get them on the right path. They're 2-2, a little disappointed not sweeping or getting 3 from San Francisco at home, but they fall behind here and then put a 5 spot on the board, kind of going station to station. They get a little emotion when Joe Kelly's on the mound and the Astros respond to it. And now if the bullpen can come in and finish it off, feel pretty good going into tomorrow in this short 2-game trip into Houston, but a 9-game road trip altogether.
You know, in one of the first games of his first year in a Dodger uniform, Joe Kelly got booed at Dodger Stadium and spent the whole summer trying to earn the trust of the fans in LA. I think one of the first games here in his second year, he earned whatever he was still trying to earn. A swing and a miss from Reddick for the first out of the 7th.
Caleb Ferguson has been working really hard on his breaking balls. Curveball and a slider. This little slider right here will serve him well in 2020. Reddick kind of bailing out.
Mark Pryor for a visit and a word from Morongo.
Morongo, playing it safe. The good times are back.
That slider of Caleb Ferguson's is so new it won't show up on any of the charting places. Maybe a few might get it, but it's really something that's just coming into his repertoire. Curveball wasn't landing often enough to be used as a pitch to get back into counts or even put guys away, so went back to the drawing board with another breaking ball, and the slider looks like it's going to be a good one.
Strike 1 on a pinch hitting Abraham Toro. He calls it Oral a cutter.
Yuki doesn't want to hear the word slider.
Yes, he doesn't want it to too closely resemble his curveball, and so just that mental note to make him try to throw it more like a fastball, throw it as hard as he can. He says, if I call it a slider, I'm going to try and kind of spin it, and that's not what I want. I don't want it to blend with my curve. Ahead 1-2.
All kinds of mental tricks that athletes use.
In on him there. We'll do the 1-2 again. His inspiration was a conversation late last year with Clayton Kershaw. Really, it started with, look, man, you got to get a third pitch, because Caleb still has aspirations of being a starter at some point, which is what he came up as. Can't do that with just a fastball curve.
Not unless you're Nolan Ryan.
Right. Yeah, rare is the guy that can do it with 2 pitches.
Maldonado over there asking what's he got.
Well, he had a fastball curve. Now it's fastball curve slider, but he says cutter. And he's got a fastball.
And his fastball at the top of the strike zone is one of those high spin rate optical illusion ones. When he first got here to the big leagues with the Dodgers, he could live with just this one pitch right here. It does not go down with the effect of gravity as much as the hitter thinks it should because of that spin.
2 gone with the bases empty for Maldonado, who was a deadline pickup by the Astros 2 summers in a row. Got him at the deadline in 18 from the Angels. And he finished 18 with the Astros, but then went to Kansas City to begin last year. Traded to the Cubs in mid-July. Traded from the Cubs to the Astros 2 weeks later. And then this winter, signed a 2-year contract. So technically his 3rd stint with the team. Swings through it. That elevated fastball is buzzing right by him. No balls, 2 strikes on the 9-hitter Martin Maldonado.
Joe, I don't want to scare you, but after tomorrow's game, we've played 10% of the season.
You scared me. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is really crazy. I just want to tell you the value of this 5-2 game and put it in the W column.
A swing and a foul tip into the glove, strike 3. Caleb Ferguson comes in with a vengeance and pumps those fastballs right by him.
Time now for the Dodgers calendar, brought to you by Nissan. Taking a look ahead, tomorrow they'll finish the series against the Astros. That one right here at 4 p.m. on Sportsnet LA before heading to Arizona for a 4-game set within their division against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hard to believe that Saturday is already August 1st, guys. And after the 4-game set with the D-backs, they will head to San Diego for a 3-game series against the Padres.
Alana, did they leave the light on in your suite, or is it completely dark over there?
I had to turn some of the camera lights on.
Oh, man.
This is so weird, you guys.
Oh, the whole world's
so weird.
Alana.
I feel like it's in Little House on the Prairie, and everyone's like, "Good night, John boy. Good night." Whatever. Joe's probably too young for that. But.
Heard of it. Mom and Dad told me. Here's A.J. Pollock.
Oh boy.
The lead off this 8th against Nivaldo Rodriguez, who is the second Astro to make his major league debut tonight. In fact, for Nivaldo Rodriguez, he's not pitched above A ball. Here the 23-year-old from Venezuela is facing the top offense in the National League, trying to keep the Astros within striking distance against a man who is 2 for 2 tonight. Or 2 for 3, beg your pardon, from Pollock.
An offensive ballpark, and you need a few more insurance runs. It's tack on time.
Check swing. He went 2-2. A couple people have astutely pointed out on social media that while Joe Kelly wasn't on the 2017 Dodgers, he was on the 2017 Astros, or 2017 Red Sox, who were knocked out in the division series by the Astros. Punch to right. It'll drop in and give A.J. Pollock a 3-hit night.
These are necessary hits for guys that are coming off rough years, trying to get a fast start. Chris Taylor, maybe, Kike Hernandez, A.J. Pollock, Austin Barnes. These are the kind of guys that are like, all right, I've put the work in. I got 60 games to get this thing turned around already. And when those fall in, they help a lot.
Hernandez 1 for 3. It's been a fun night.
Thank you, Joe Kelly.
Oh, they're going to say thank you, Joe Davis, but
no, sorry.
Okay.
Wrong Joe,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, we don't want to compliment our crew too much, but we still need to keep saying it, because what they did to get us on the air, what they've done to sync this up. Mike Levy, our producer, flew with the team and is in Houston, making sure all the feeds get back here to Los Angeles, to Alana and to us in the booth, and to Jaime Harin and Fernando and Pepe. And it has worked flawlessly so far, and I think it will continue. They are showing their stripes.
Our ops man here at home, Patrick Karayan, who is responsible also for having the button to the air conditioning at Dodger Stadium. Unbelievable power for a man to have, by the way. Patrick, I don't think the AC's on. I have no idea how he handled this, but I got it. AC gets turned on immediately. Our director, Ben Dillenberger, who's in his first year as the lead director of the Dodgers. What a year to be in that position. Relearning the position. Everybody, really not just for us or in baseball or in TV, but Everybody's doing their job differently these days. No different for Ben, but in his first year in the chair full time.
Yep.
Bob Sipowicz is producing on site with Mike Levy on the road, making sure things run well. And 0-2. And how about Anthony Hurd, our audio guy? It is unbelievable how normal it all sounds.
Well, it's been really, we were kind of sweating it. We got here an extra hour early today to see how the booth was going to be set up, what feeds were we going to get, and which monitors, how are we going to put this together. And everybody, anytime we had a question or a need, somebody was there to get on it.
Hernandez slaps one right side. Altuve to his left, feeds Correa, and they get the out at second. One gone.
The games aren't as fun without the fans in the stands, and Mike Levy, our producer, has said the road trips aren't as fun without us with him.
Here's Smith. It's an entirely new world for the guys going on the road. Dave Roberts was talking about that with us earlier today, but everything from boxed lunches on the plane instead of a buffet, and snacks in the overhead department.
Temperature.
Yep, temperature checks. Basically, you get off the plane, you get onto a bus, straight to the hotel, to your room, and that's it. He said he's never seen so many video game consoles get on and off a major league plane.
Exactly.
That's what they're all doing. They're sitting in their hotel rooms all day and linking up on Wi-Fi playing video games.
4 buses with assigned seats. You sit in the same seat to and from. That's your seat for the road trip. They sterilize the bus after they get them to the ballpark and after they take them home.
One on, one out. 1-1. One and two, and a word from Arco.
Arco, quality top-tier gas for less.
Doing a lot of their meetings, guys are in the hotels. A lot of the treatment is being done in the hotels. Hotel gyms they have to themselves to be able to get workouts there, because they don't want guys being at the ballpark any more than they have to. Here comes a 1-2, and Smith pops it up on the infield. Easy one for Altuve.
Every healthy day the big leagues have, I think the guys relax more and more into the culture and what's expected to them to stay safe. But what's happened with the Miami Marlins, all of a sudden that brings an extra level of sensitivity to all the rules and people really paying attention.
Here's Betts with a man on and 2 out. Dodgers up 5-2 in the 8th. If you hadn't heard, 18 members of the Marlins traveling party, including 15 players, have tested positive over the last few days. And so they have shut the Marlins down through the end of the week. They won't play again until next week. They just wrapped up a 3-game series with the Phillies. They've also shut the Phillies down, even though there haven't been any positive tests reported as of at least a couple hours ago from the Phillies. They've shut the Phillies down until Friday. Phillies were supposed to play the Yankees. Marlins were supposed to play the Orioles. Instead, the Yankees and the Orioles are going to play. We all kind of figure this out as we go. There is no blueprint. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mookie.
Baseball's goal is to get some kind of season in, determine who gets into the playoffs, and then have a really exciting playoffs for the fans. And I think, barring any catastrophes with health, they will push through and do as much as they can. And I think the first thing that told you that was when they went to 60-man rosters and 30 men to start. I think that said that there could be issues as we go, but we have to be ready for it. And they don't want to do a start and stop, and they don't want to shut it down. They want to stay safe and give you a baseball season as much as they can.
Betts with a bullet down the line to left. It's a fair ball into the corner. Hernandez will stop at third. A ringing double for Mookie Betts, his second hit tonight.
First extra base hit as a Dodger. And this one is smoked. It's got topspin. This is hit hard enough to be a home run. It even has maybe enough trajectory, but he gets on top of it, and you see that bat kind of roll over just the upper half of the ball, puts the topspin on it, and topspin really helped it actually stay fair compared to the side spin that could have hooked it.
So a chance to add on. Second and third with 2 out for Muncy, who's looking for his first knock tonight. 0 for 3 with a walk. 1-0. Yeah, there are people across baseball who have said that seeing this outbreak in the Marlins roster does give them pause, does scare them, and you don't blame them. The Dodgers were sitting on the tarmac and getting ready to take off for Houston when all the news was coming out about all the Marlins testing positive. The story adjacent to that is good news is that there haven't been any other positive tests across baseball out of thousands of tests taken the last few days. So at this point isolated to the Marlins, which, look, it's awful that there are that many guys testing positive in the traveling party, and that's where your minds go first. But when you're thinking bigger picture, no other positive tests in the 29 teams, at least right now. 3-0. Turner waits on deck as Muncy takes a rip at the 3-0 pitch and fouls it off.
Another 2-out RBI opportunity for the Dodgers. They lead Major League Baseball in 2-out RBIs.
This is a category where they made a huge jump from 2018. They went from the worst team in the National League with runners in scoring position and 2 outs to the best in baseball. Full count.
3-run lead with 6 outs to go for the Houston offense is game on still, especially in this ballpark. 5-run lead with 6 outs to go, it starts to get pretty comfortable.
Muncy looking to come through with 2 gone in the 8th. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Muncy hits it softly right side. It'll be a race to the bag, won by Rodriguez, and that sends us to the bottom of the 8th. The Dodgers 5, the Astros 2. (5-2) Dodgers to the bottom of the 8th, and we check in with the studio for a preview of Access Sportsnet Dodgers.
All right, thanks, guys. The Dodgers had a little singles party there in the 5th inning, putting up 5 runs, and then Joe Kelly making things interesting.
Like the kid said, Kelly wanted all smoke.
We will break it all down for you right after the game. We'll see you soon.
Not sure I got that reference. I guess that makes me less than hip, but
I'm going to text Jerry.
Do that, get the reference. Here's Blake Treinen, who the Dodgers are hoping can recapture his 2018 form, and he sure looked good on Saturday in his Dodger debut. He gets strike 1 on George Springer, facing the top of the Houston order with a 3-run lead. Treinen in 2018, some of the best numbers for any reliever ever. He had a 0.78 ERA for Oakland and got Cy Young votes as a closer. Gets in on the hands of Springer, who can run well, so Seager will have to hurry and gets him. What for you was the difference between 18 and 19 for Treinen, and what have you seen so far as he tries to recover his 18 form?
Aches and pains, especially the one in his shoulder. It changes the caliber of your bullets every time you throw when you're nursing something where you're good enough to pitch, but you're not good enough to pitch well. And you're hurt, but you're not injured. And you battle through it, and it affects consistency, and you've got to be able to really get through a pitch and hang on to it for a while when you throw a sinker like he does and a breaking ball like he does, and you're throwing it at 95 and above. And so one day it feels good, one day it feels bad, one day in between pitches you feel a little cranky and you're wondering what's it going to feel like on the next one, and it affects your velocity, your movement, your consistency.
1-1 on Altuve.
The health comes back. I bet you everybody out there's kind of rode a bike with a little bit of a sore knee. And you know, as it's going around and you're waiting, okay, how's that right leg going to push the pedal? The left leg working good. The right leg has got, oh, there's a little catch there. Oh, the next one it felt better. Oh, there's another catch. It's the same kind of thing. It's moving, and it's moving well enough, but it's not moving consistently without pain. It's not moving consistently with the right strength, maybe even a little unstable. And it just affects when you're dealing and playing against the world's best. It's very hard. You can go from the world's best to struggling, which he did, 18 to 19.
And 19 was his worst year. That's a strike, and it's 2-2 on Altuve. A one-seam sinker, he describes it as. Grips it along the seams, but then tilts it ever so slightly. So one of the fingers kind of comes off as he releases it. Chopper foul. When Blake was 2, he nearly cut his thumb off on a piece of glass. His uncle held it in place as they rushed him to the hospital. And the doctors obviously were able to save it, but to this day there's not much flexibility in it. And the way that it lays when he grips a ball just happens to be perfect for that one-seam sinker grip. And he never had the option of manipulating his thumb, and this is what it's produced. Here he comes with another 2-2. Full count on Altuve. Shades of Mordecai Three-Finger Brown, the Cubs in the early 1900s, who lost a finger and a half in an accident on the farm, and then a couple weeks later was chasing some rabbits, tripped on a stump and broke the other fingers.
Okay.
Mangled hand. The only way that he could grip a ball, produced one of the great curve balls the game has ever seen. It's on the ground. What a stab by Turner. Got him. 2 out in the 8th.
Altuve left the box disappointed because Turner caught it so quickly, but he didn't give up on running down the line. That's the ground ball that Blake Treinen is looking for, but not quite this hard. What a great baseball clock, and the adrenaline that you're hit with at third base after catching that ball. But Justin just takes a breath, regroups, and a nice smooth throw to first. The emotions of that play are as big league as the glove work.
Bregman, bases empty, 2 out. Treinen's 0-1. Bregman 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. You know, Justin Turner, who was a Gold Glove finalist a few years ago, rated out poorly defensively by a lot of metrics last year. And the area that he was clearly below average was to his right, where he went to make that play. Obviously didn't take range to his right, but that'll go down as a play to his right. Will grade favorably. Look at that sweeping slider to pair with a sinker. 2-2 on Bregman.
When the sinker's big, the breaking ball doesn't have to be. When the sinker is big and you have a breaking ball that big, that's a lot of plate and off the plate to cover.
Try to get the same result. Bregman laid off this time, and the count goes 4. Astros got 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th. Dodgers got all 5 of their runs in the 5th. Treinen home with a payoff, and a walk to Bregman keeps the inning alive. Walk taken by Bregman tonight.
That one was a little lower than the last one. Over his head from Joe Kelly.
Oh yeah, that one. Brantley 1 for 3. The run scored back in the 4th. One ball, no strikes.
This Dodger bullpen could shape up to be a shutdown bullpen. We're almost, depending on matchups, guys just come in and that's your inning, that's your inning, that's your inning, and all of a sudden the starters don't have to go more than 6.
But against San Francisco, the pen had a 2.16 ERA, held opponents to a 1.64 average. So far tonight, since the Dodgers took the lead in the 5th, they've not given up a hit over 4 innings. Softly chopped right side. Seager's there. We go to the 9th in Houston. 6th inning, things got interesting with Joe Kelly on the mound again. Joe Kelly was not a member of the 17 Dodgers, but he was on the 17 Red Sox that were defeated by the Astros in the division series during their sign-stealing scheme, and carried likely some of the pain from that, some responsibility for the pain that his new teammates are feeling. The bench is cleared soon after, although this is as far as things got. Message sent by Joe Kelly. Justin Turner to lead off this 9th inning. That's ball 1 from Rodriguez.
Well, you know, the scab has not healed. I'm not sure it will heal for the players on the 2017 team for their whole life.
Two balls, one strike on Turner, who was 1 for 4. Drove in a run with a single in that 5-run 5th inning. It was all singles in that inning. A couple walks, but 5 singles. In fact, the Dodgers in this game have 10 hits. Mookie Betts' double last inning was their first extra base hit. Count evens 2-2. It's kind of a bummer this is a quick 2-game series, isn't it? Kenley Jansen warming for the bottom of the 9th. Josh Bard, the bullpen coach, standing by.
The Astros weren't on the Dodgers schedule until the schedule got adjusted for this year. We'll keep the travel down.
Turner leading off the 9th. Watching that spin away for a leadoff walk.
Purchase a fan cutout and have your face in the stands at Dodger Stadium during the 2020 season. Proceeds benefit the Los Angeles Dodger Foundation with a mission to improve education, healthcare, homelessness, and social justice for all Angelinos. Buy now at Dodgers.com/fan cutouts.
Leadoff man aboard. Here's Cody Bellinger. Drove in a run in that 5th inning as well. He chases a high fastball here. The Dodgers went a while without doing much to open the inning, but 4 of the last 5 innings they've had the leadoff man on now. One of the things you were talking about earlier tonight, Oral, coming into the game, was how the strikeouts had gone way up, the walks had gone way down the last 2 games against the Giants. And all this is magnified because we only have 4 games to look at, and because we're only going to have 60 total, but that's flipped around again. More walks than Ks tonight.
That should be the norm for the Dodgers with this lineup and their ability to be disciplined, to not chase, and then they also bring the power. But that kind of discipline will build some great hitters counts.
A 1-1 pitch to Bellinger, and he swings himself out of his helmet, comes up empty. 1-2.
Little cutter slash slider slash whatever you want to call it.
Look on Cody's face after coming up empty there was, what is going on?
Yeah.
Center cut. Swing and a miss. Now 1-2. Barreled that one up, but it's foul. Those are the ones that swing and a miss there. Those are the ones where the guys talking about it feeling like there's a hole in their bat. Two and two. Second game and final game of the series is tomorrow, and Dustin May, who was filthy in the last-minute call to be the opening day starter, make his second start for LA. Astros still figuring it out. Maybe a bullpen day for them. On 2-2, Bellinger swings and misses. 1 out.
Joe, do you believe in ghosts? Like,
why? You think you're seeing one here in dark, empty Dodger Stadium?
No, but the lights are kind of flickering and different things are happening in the stadium that weren't happening before. See how the electronic boards in the outfield are kind of glowing? I don't know.
Scary.
Yeah. They're like, this is my house when you're supposed to be on the road.
Taylor with 1 on and 1 out. Wraps one on the ground to third off Bregman. All he can do is chase it down, and they're at first and second with 1 away. Boy, Taylor continues to scorch the ball. He's hit it hard a few times tonight. He's also walked. What do you think? Hit?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In some ways, the official scorers could wait to see the exit velocity and even actually have a line like at 97 and above. I know if 95 is hard hit, but at 98 and above, it's going to be a hit.
You see Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run over the weekend that was 121.
It's like a slap shot in hockey.
Yeah. They're at first and second for Seager. Another chance for the Dodgers to add on here. Climbs the ladder and fouls it off. 0-1.
Corey Seager's average exit velocity on the season is above 95 miles an hour. Doesn't mean every ball was above 95 miles an hour, but his average of all his contact and fair play is one of the highest. I think it's 11th coming into this game in the major leagues.
I think he probably increased that tonight as hard as he hit it. 1 for 3, scored in the 5-run 5th. Also sprinkled in a walk. Ball 2. Turner at second, Taylor at first, and Rodriguez home with a 2-1 that Seager hits on the ground right side. Altuve will look at second and go to first. To third goes Turner, to second goes Taylor, and it'll be up to A.J. Pollock with 2 gone. Pollock already 3 hits tonight. He has 8 career 4-hit games. Most recent one came in the first series in a Dodger uniform last year against Arizona.
Dylan Floro has joined Kenley Jansen in the Dodger bullpen. Probably if AJ drives in a couple runs here, we'll give the 9th to Dylan.
Visit coming here from Maldonado. Well, on top of going through everything the Pollocks went through with baby Maddie, AJ had COVID in June. So had to quarantine himself for 2 weeks upstairs at his house. His wife Kate did the same downstairs. The baby had to be left alone at the hospital for that time. And given all that, of course, there was discussion. Do I play? Do I go back to playing? His wife Kate, who was a collegiate athlete, played lacrosse at Notre Dame, said, AJ, you know you can't be sitting on the couch watching them win the World Series. And he said, you know what? You're right. Jump back in with her support. On an 0-1. Watch a strike 2. They have, by the way, ruled it an error on Bregman instead of a base hit for Taylor. It's Bregman's 2nd error tonight.
That's a tough break for Chris Taylor. I guess because it was 2 bounces instead of 1. Can't say it was a home scoring decision because the official score is not even at the ballpark.
Ground ball to third. Bregman's got this one. He will gun it across the diamond in time to get Pollock and send this game to the bottom of the 9th. The Dodgers 5, the Astros 2, and Kenley Jansen likely coming in to try and shut it down. His first save of the 2020 season as he comes in for the bottom of the 9th with the Dodgers in front 5-2. And for the Astros, Gurriel, Correa, and Reddick coming up.
The captain of the bullpen trying to put the frosting on the rest of the relievers that have been unbelievable tonight. No earned runs, no hits, 6 Ks in 4 1/3. Kenley looking for a scoreless 9th to cap off an outstanding night. Walker Buehler got his work in and actually got a little more work in after his 4 1/3, was it? And went out in the bullpen, got some more work to stretch himself out. But after that, here came the bullpen, and they have done a job.
Kenley tested positive for COVID in late June, and so didn't report to camp until July 12th. But declared himself ready to go for the start of the season as he tries to bounce back from the worst numbers of his career last year. There were flashes of the old Kenley, just inconsistent. So here we go. Last of the 9th. Yuli Gurriel to lead it off, taking ball 1. Gurriel has walked twice tonight. He's 0 for 1. In fact, the Astros have 2 hits from Carlos Correa. The rest of the team is 1 for 24. Jansen's 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good characteristic to that cutter. And the velocity has not necessarily been where Kenley always likes it. But Dave Roberts pulled him aside the other day and said, don't worry about the velocity right now. Worry about the characteristics, the way the pitches are moving. That tails inside. 2-seamer. 2-1.
A little bit more behind the ball on his 2-seamer, so you see the velocity tick up to 92. With the cutter, he comes around the ball a little bit more, so the arm speed goes a little bit more into spinning the ball compared to the velocity.
Fouled off, and it's 2-2.
91's a good sign for the cutter. In spring training 1.0, it was around 91 to 92. In the first outing against the Giants, it was more about 88, 89. And just the psychological release from your manager to say, just worry about the characteristics, might free everything up. You might get the movement and the velocity.
Fires 2-2 and induces a pop fly into shallow right field. There's Mookie Betts for the first out of the ninth. Kenley was one of the most outspoken proponents of driveline this winter. Facility near Seattle where you can analyze everything about your delivery and about your pitches. Kenley went up there, learned a lot about his delivery and what he needed to do to get back to the 2017 form. Came into spring with so much confidence in what he had learned and the way he was going to apply it. Here is Correa. 1-0.
You got to believe when you have the virus like Kenley did, and no matter how tough the symptoms were and the sickness was, even if you're just worried about it kicking in and getting worse, it's got to deplete your energy. So I got to believe he's still getting in shape.
That is blooped down the line to left. Third hit of the night for Carlos Correa. They'll coast into second with a double, single, double, and a homer.
That wasn't hit like the home run. That was a broken bat. So if he's used the same bat the whole game from the home run in the first at bat, that is going to need a new one tomorrow.
So the Astros still with some work to do to make this overly interesting. Need another base runner before they get the tying run up there. The hitter is Josh Reddick. Kenley Jansen, 32 years old, a decade in the majors now. Fires his first one. Look at that thing cut in there. Man, that looked good. Strike one. Tried to backdoor it. 1-1.
We're not seeing the velocity pop just on one pitch. He's consistently 91, 92, which is a very good sign. Like I said, I think he's still getting in shape. Still getting his full energy back and life in his body.
Falls behind. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Tension's a little greater here because the Dodgers have left 11 guys on base. The offense got past the magic number of 4, which usually brings a victory, but they surely could have got a lot more with a couple more key hits.
So the pressure falling on Jansen, who misses here, and it's 3-1. Abraham Toro is on deck. And it's Maldonado, then back to the top of the order. Jansen strides home with a 3-1 and gets a swing and a miss. 3-2.
This is a big cutter, and you see he gets around it a little bit more. That drops the velocity down to 88, but increases the break, and you've got to challenge him with the tying run on deck. You've got to go somewhere near the middle of the plate with movement. Let the movement get the hitter out, not the location. Don't mess around with walking him.
Here he comes. Do it again. 88 again.
It's just outstanding pitching theory right there from Kenley. He's not worried about that guy on second. He doesn't want the guy on deck to come up and represent the tying run. Don't protect your ERA. Protect the W.
7th pitch of the AB. A pop-up. Left side of the infield, Justin Turner. He induces weak contact, and he's 1 out away from shutting it down.
Perfect. Using the center of the plate and just trusting the movement. He worked himself back into the count. Eliminated the walk by using the middle of the plate. Trusted the movement on the cutter at 88. Not worrying about throwing it hard to a corner, but just use the middle of the plate and make it move.
It's a cutter that he didn't even realize he had until his second year he was pitching. He just couldn't figure out why nobody could hit his fastball. And then a couple people said, hey, your ball's moving, but it's a good thing. Don't change a thing. When you just throw it naturally, you got yourself a cutter. Here's Toro with 2 gone in the 9th. Strike 1.
The baseball coming out of his hand, the characteristics look like he stays behind it a little bit more on the arm side, and you see a little more velocity when he's going to the arm side of the plate. But when he goes inside to a left-handed hitter, he gets around it a little bit more. The velocity drops, but better break like that.
0-2 quickly with a pair of cutters. Dodgers 5, Astros 2. 2 gone last of the 9th. Dodgers trying to snap this quick little skid in a season where every game means that much more. 0-2 on Toro. Correa at second. Here comes Jansen with an 0-2. Another pop fly into short left field. Turner and Seager out. It's Seager with a call and the catch, and that does it. The Dodgers beat the Astros in the first meeting since the 2017 World Series on the strength of a 5-run 5th, 5-2.
Nice clean game. Outstanding work from the bullpen, finished off by Kenley Jansen. A great response to a 2-game losing streak and to the Astro uniform.
It'll be Dustin May tomorrow as the Dodgers go for a quick 2-game sweep. For Oral Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and our wonderful crew who made this look a lot more smooth and seamless than it should be with us in Los Angeles and the game going on states and states and states away. Stay tuned. Access Sportsnet Dodgers, presented by your Southern California Ford dealers, begins now.